What's up, guys? Welcome to episode 2 of the Extraction Zone podcast all about Mass Effect 3 Multiplayer. I'm Gilgamesh V9, also known as Jonah. Who do we have with me this week?
I'm Shredder. May know is Republican Shredder, but Shredder's fine enough.
I'm John, also known as Great Fail, though I prefer to be called John.
And I'm Jordan, Violated Muffins.
Alright, and you guys decided that we should get a topic and stick with that for the podcast, and we've decided to take that suggestion, and this week we're talking about the vanilla humans, so the 6 that you get in the beginning when you first get or load up multiplayer.
Oh, we're not talking about...
I don't think we're talking about the M7 stuff, but
okay, alright.
Personally, I think that they're all pretty good. They're not the strongest in their class, but they're all really solid. I mean, what do you guys think, just in general?
I disagree. Case in point, Exhibit A, male human engineer. I rest my case.
So you're saying they're above average in terms of strength? Is that what you're arguing?
Well, I mean, obviously, like, as a beginner class, it's not bad, but I can't deny, like, they get stronger as you level them up. Well, in my opinion, at least.
As does every...
Yeah, like most...
Well, you know what I mean. I mean, like, sometimes they're better than some of the classes that BioWare puts out. Like, obviously, the Solarian is not really that good, in my opinion.
Yeah, Solarian NG, I think, is a little bit weaker than the vanilla human.
Now.
You think? Really?
Well, I'm talking about in the past when Decoy was actually the god skill that it used to be.
Oh, yeah.
Well, meta's changed.
In the good old days, yeah, now it's kind of worthless. So.
It was like, the only time you'd see Solarian engineers, it was like Firebase White farming. That was really only my experience. So, anyway, but, vanilla human engineer, like, we talked about that last podcast, that's a good class, so.
Well, only you and I have agreed that it's a good class. I don't know about these two over here.
Excuse me. I think it's
they're
fine.
solid. They're solid if you're not, like, mechanically inclined. So, like, if you're a player who plays, like, Counter-Strike and you, like, literally have pitch-perfect aim, oh my goodness, that's something like the screen. Vanilla human engineer, it's okay. If you're not, like, hypersensitive, or not, if you're, like, an old person with slower reflexes, it's a great kit. Doesn't require too much out of you to get a lot of benefit.
I think the biggest drawback is a survivability mechanic. It doesn't really have any going for it besides the drone, and that doesn't decoy very well at all.
Yeah.
Well, no.
If you get in a bind, you're kind of screwed, but you can always avoid those if you're just a good player.
I thought the shields were pretty big on that class. Am I wrong, or?
500 for all the vanilla humans.
Yeah, and it's like 825 each with max fitness, right?
Yep.
Yeah, so, like,
wow,
that's...
that sucks.
All of the other, like, the on-desk ones, like all the Solarian, I think the Asari is the same, right?
Asari's the same. Solarian's got 600 base.
Yeah, I know the Drell have more health,
health,
but less barriers. I know that the Turians and Krogan obviously have more.
750.
And I think the Quarians have more shields as well.
Male.
But, so they're, like, slightly below average in terms of tankiness, but
yeah.
In terms of offensive capability, I think they're pretty strong. I think I went through, because like we had talked about this before, I went through and I played each of the classes. I think that the overall strongest, if you were to ask me, would be the Sentinel, because remember when the game first came out, everyone was talking about the Asari Adept because it had Warp Throw, which is like a crazy good biotic combo. So with tech armor, those hit harder and you're tankier, but then you also use your power slower. But like I was using that on gold, and I think that's a really, really strong class. So that'd have to be my pick for my favorite.
I actually get more damage on that class than the Asari for doing just Warp Throw, because the cooldown, if you're at 200%, it's only like 0.3 seconds for each of those that it increases, and then you get the 20% extra damage. So in the long run DPS, if you're literally just doing Warp Throw, you actually get more damage per second.
Yeah, isn't that what I said, or did I say it backwards? Because tech armor slows down your power use, but you're tankier, but then they hit harder, right?
Yeah, but I'm just saying that a lot of people don't realize that then it's such a small fraction on those quick cooldown skills like throw and stuff, where you actually do get more damage over time.
Yeah.
Compared to the Asari.
Do people really play Sentinel that often. Vanilla Sentinel, I mean.
I know Ninja Ninja swears by it.
Yeah, I don't see that many. They're not like flashy, like they're not cool, but they're good. So I don't know.
That's basically all the base human kits, or
Yeah.
vanilla kits. They're not flashy,
but they're good.
They're
Well,
solid.
besides the human Vanguard.
Yeah, the Vanguard's
Oh.
you know there's a Vanguard.
I don't understand the whole fascination with that. Nova is the worst for me.
No,
I like
it always works against me.
All right, have
It
you ever
always works
played
against
a
me
Nova
for
Guard
that.
when you have a Drell Adapt on your team? Because you owe it to yourself to do that.
It is really fun.
It's
And look at how many people play Drell. I don't know. It's just Nova is not really that good.
I don't know. I think the Nova Guard, like for what it is, it's really strong. I remember my friend when we like first started playing like our first character, he had played Vanguard in the single player, and so he loaded up with the Nova Guard, and I was like, how are you scoring so much points? Because like it's like on the lower difficulties especially, it's really easy because you just fly at them and they usually die. And then like as long as you don't get picked up,
you can breathe
then
on
you're
them and
fine.
they're just
so
dead.
if you just play against Gath as a Nova Guard, like you do on any difficulty really, then you'll do fine. And then we figured out biotic explosions and stuff. And then,
you can chain those all day with the Nova Guard.
Yeah.
Honestly, the only biotic in my life that I need is the Adept. Anything else could just go die.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
It's a fairly strong ultimatum there.
I'm sorry, that was inappropriate.
I may hate Vanguards, but I'm not that cruel.
Oh man, adepts are good. All the biotics are good.
Singularity is severely underrated. Like if you're like at an upload and you like near a door, oh my god, you rack up so much points just guarding it with Singularity. Like you don't even have to have an enemy to just start it off. Like people just walk into it. It's amazing.
Yeah, and pre-buff it was not very good.
Yeah.
But then they buffed it and it's awesome now. So.
Poor thing.
Actually, yeah. Let's talk about the Adept then, because we talked about the Sentinel and the Nova Guard and the Engineer. So what do you guys think of the Adept?
Shockwave is awesome.
Yeah.
That's why.
Wait, Shockwave is on Adepts?
Yeah, the human Adepts have Singularity or Shockwave.
Oh.
Shockwave is awesome.
Yeah,
I was thinking of Vanguard, and I was like, I thought they had something else, like Throw or something. I haven't played Adept in a long time.
Throw's
like Vanilla Adept, I mean.
Yeah.
Well, with Warp and Shockwave, if you take the 50% boost from Warp, the 50% debuff from Warp, and the 65% biotic damage boost on Shockwave, you do about 2.8 times the damage from your biotic explosions.
Yeah.
On top of the massive damage of what you already do.
Well, and I think that's the strongest explosion except for like Warp Pull.
I think it's Shockwave Pull.
Is that it? Yeah, that's it.
Which is not impossible to pull off. The target's dead anyways. There's not enough health in the game.
Yeah.
Well, for my Shockwaves, it usually just slightly irritates them a little bit, and then they continue shooting at me. Maybe I'm speccing it wrong, in my opinion. Or I'm aiming it wrong.
Probably aiming it. It does have some travel time.
Yeah, and like the way it like pulses, so like if they're in between the pulse, it won't detonate.
As effectively.
Yeah. So it's strange, but I think it's a good kit, and especially with Singularity.
You can go through walls with Shockwave. That's my favorite part.
Yeah.
Warp is my favorite power. Oh my god.
I mean, Guest Scanner on the Smash, on the Smash Adepts is great too, but I mean, people forget you can do that.
My favorite thing to do on the human Adept is do the 3-powered double combo, or double explosion. A lot of people don't know about that. It took me a while. Where you do, let me make sure I don't mess this up. I believe it is, you go Singularity to Warp to Shockwave to the explosion on the Singularity, and you get 2 biotic combinations or explosions in that combo.
Jesus.
With 3 powers.
Yeah.
Dang.
And that's,
I kind of want to try that. I want to play that.
Because like I know the Justicar has one, but like there's not many of those triple or double explosions you can do.
At least with biotics.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean with tech it's way easier, but yeah, with biotics.
I
feel like they bring the most CC out of any class into the game, like crowd control stuff.
Yeah.
Because they have the lift on Shockwave, they have the stopping power on Singularity. I mean, sure they don't throw or pull or the tech abilities that drop, but I mean, for long-term crowd control, I think there really isn't anything stronger.
Is there like another optimal crowd control for vanilla, or not really?
I think if you go
double jump overloads got pretty good on Engineer.
Yeah, that's pretty good, especially because you can.
Assume you're finding organics. That's an assumption.
Well,
rank one up for the engineer again.
But also, isn't that like 1 second that they're down roughly? With the lift on Shockwave, isn't that like 2-ish to 3?
If you're lifting Shockwave, yeah, you're up a couple seconds. Overload, they kind of get knocked down, knocked for a second, then they got to get it back up.
Yeah.
Shock.
I think.
Sorry, they aren't acrobats. Servers ain't acrobats.
In terms of like, not necessarily crowd control, but like area denial, like what you were saying, John. Like if you're in like a hack objective indoors and you know that they're coming from a doorway, you singularity that, and then you just spam a shockwave. Nothing gets through that door. So, or at least without bosses or anything. So
I really underestimate Shockwave, in my opinion. I always just level up to 3 and then focus on the other powers.
You're missing on the best part. You're missing on rank 5. There's 2 good options. There's range, and then there's 65%.
Maybe I'm just bitter because it's like so changed from Mass Effect 2. Because like on Mass Effect 2, it's just like you raise your hand up and it's just like it goes on the ground and it makes people just fly everywhere.
I actually hate that.
And then it's just like it looks weaker in comparison to that. Maybe that's why I'm bitter about it.
I can't say I've used Shockwave in Mass Effect 2, actually.
Yeah, because of the defense system in Mass Effect 2, everything had shields, armor, then health. And by the time you got the health, it's like, you're dead.
Well, I just use, a sniper rifle and you get the Widow over, and just like, you have the slow-mo scope and you're just, alright, they're dead. So, it's just what I would do.
Insta-kill boss in 2 shots. Oh, I'm always jealous when that happens though.
Just remember with Shockwave on PC, rank 4 radius, bugged.
Yes.
It makes it not work.
The master race has its flaws.
We can aim unlike you, Colin.
Yeah, careful there. Careful. You don't
Wasn't there like a bug with the drill?
Hey, I'll take every little win I could get because there are so few, okay?
Yeah.
Just give me this one. We won the battle, but you win the war. I'll admit it.
Wasn't there like a bug with the drill? Like you press Reeve and there would be like an audio bug. It was just like
right, you hear the Reeve sound.
Lawnmower Man.
I miss it, honestly. I really do miss it.
Kind of fun, because now it doesn't play any sound. Yeah.
Yeah, now it's.
I wish I witnessed that because that would have been hilarious to.
It was kind of annoying, but nostalgically I miss it.
It's not as annoying as what is it? Dark Channel being super loud.
Oh.
That's awful.
And you hit a Ravager, it's like jump, 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 jump.
That's kind of cool, but but yeah, I know what you're talking about. All right, so what are the other sweet Soldier? Soldier is good.
Only kit with Adrenaline Rush, which makes and flag grenades. The BF3 Soldier also has those.
Is that count as a vanilla human? You might as well talk about it, I guess.
I think Soldier's the only class where I'm weapon heavy on.
I have a question for Repshred about the human soldier. So I was trying out his build for it and everything, doing research for this. Yeah. When do you do concussive shot over adrenaline rush? I could not really find a use for it other than a stagger.
Generally, if I'm trying to just quickly slow down something for aiming. Because sometimes if you're trying to aim against a Phantom, well, for example, Phantom's a good target you actually want to concussive shot first.
Right.
So,
that was like my main thing that I found the use for it. Like, kind of like stasis. But other than that one select scenario, is there?
Sometimes you want to force a dodge roll, because sometimes when you start shooting an enemy, they will dodge roll out of the way, which just really screws up my aiming. For example, a Geth Bomber is a really big one, where the Geth Bomber will go straight. I assume you can see me through the Skype. People can't. Went straight, and then you do some power like Overload or Incinerate or Concussive Shot. You'll dodge to the side, and then it won't dodge for another 5 seconds. You could make it dodge for a second, then you can do Adrenaline Rush.
Shredder, I'm surprised that with human soldier you just use grenades. Who cares?
When you made me do that challenge, when I was failing on that collector's game, my only thought was, you know how much easier this would have been with grenades?
They are really good.
I use grenades when I'm in Adrenaline Rush. I need concussive shot, but I'm in Adrenaline Rush. Therefore, I use a grenade.
Yeah.
With my challenge, it was really easy. I mean, with the human vanguard, all you have to do is just spam RB and LB, and you're done. Pretty much done for it, in my opinion.
Well,
What about you, Jordan?
I thought he was alright. I'm not really a big fan of soldiers, just in general. I don't know. Class never clicked with me. I'm a power user, and none of them besides the Geth soldier really seem to take advantage of powers properly. I just gave up on them too early. But I don't know, he felt alright. He felt really well rounded. He had the survivability, he had the AoE, he had the single target damage. Just kind of felt boring to me. Area of effect stuff with his grenades.
Okay.
Worst,
I was just like, how did he get AoE from?
Concussive shot is decent AoE too. There's an Evo for that, right?
Yeah, I actually like it for its really fast recycle time. It is the fastest of the reliable detonators. Really it's the fastest tech detonator. So if you have, like, say, I love the human engineer and the human soldier, because the human engineer is like, oh, I see shields, overload, and then the soldier can, bam, knock with a concussive shot. You got a tech burst. Or you got, let's say, an Atlas. My favorite, or, like a boss, like, say, an Atlas. And it's like, alright, in addition to shooting in its canopy, let's throw Incinerate at it. Then while the soldier is, shooting at it, it's like, oh, let me launch a concussive shot. Boom. Fire explosion.
And you're, like, instantly back to shooting.
Yeah, and then you can do another Incinerate, fire explosion. You get a fire explosion every 3 seconds.
So you use it as a team player power more than anything. Okay, see, I was so
also barriers.
When I was doing this.
You forgot also barriers. Concussive shot has a 4 times damage multiplier against barriers.
Wait, really?
Oh, did not know.
Why?
Today I learned.
Yeah, so like collectors,
human soldier will annihilate collectors. Yeah. Which reminds me, interesting little tidbit. If you're about to get Seeker Swarmed and you have your powers on cooldown as a soldier, activate Adrenaline Rush. You will be in your power, and when you get buzzed on, your powers will be on cooldown from the Buzzer Swarm.
Oh my god.
Even though the bees are still circling you, or does it not?
You'll still get shield damage, but you will not have your powers penalized.
The soldier is sounding more and more appealing. It's
a great class.
I remember thinking like, okay, he's an okay class until I got the Claymore. Because Claymore Adrenaline Rush is so good. Because it's a double barrel shotgun at that point.
And that second shot gets at least 50% extra damage.
Yeah, it's so good.
I do have a story for that. So I was playing, it must have been, game came out in March. I was playing in late June. So I got a crew playing, and so it's me and 2 other people. We're usually pretty good. And so we had this 4th guy. It's like, so we're playing on gold, and there's this N720 that joins with the Claymore and human soldier. We're like, this guy. Let's do it. Okay, Mark Hubris. Let's just see what he can do. And by the end of the match, this fucker outscored us.
Yeah.
2-1. It's like, the shame. That's how good the human soldier is. I assume the guy only played human soldier. But,
yeah, he's an N720, yeah.
But damn, with that Claymore.
Didn't even promote.
Everything.
Yeah, I mean, it's underrated. Like, even with the katana, like, people who first load up in the game, I think that's a perfectly fine way to play him. Is to just run at people with the katana, put all 5 shots in them, hit Adrenaline Rush, put the rest of them. I mean, that's fine. And I mean, that scales really well into other game too, or to late game stuff, because you're using a Harrier, you empty your clip into the Atlas, hit Adrenaline Rush, and empty the rest of your clip, that's fine too, that's good. So
you can have infinite bullets with certain weapons like the Typhoon.
Yeah.
You don't need to reload.
When
oh man, I really want
to build this on the BSN. It was the Geth SMG, right?
Oh, the human lawnmower.
Yeah, that's it.
Love that one.
But the one I can't remember his name, but that was such a good.
Or the Dwarf, I think was the guy's name.
Yeah, actually it was. I remember his picture. SMG. It was like that old guy.
Yeah, from Dragon Age. SMG, you kept firing, and by the time you probably got to 80 bullets, Adrenaline Rush is finished, it's cooldown, you get Adrenaline Rush again. Surprisingly effective with AP ammo.
Yeah, I've never tried it, but that sounds kind of fun. So
I look legit writing this down because dang, I never really knew about these.
The more you know, man. The more you know.
I always just stuck with the pirate classes and never really knew about the vanilla classes being really good with Adrenaline Rush and Singularity and all that.
The soldier is underrated in my opinion. I mean, yeah, he's not armored. I think he's the weakest in terms of shields and armor of all the soldiers.
I think you're correct.
Well, yeah, of course.
I mean, maybe not even with Hunter mode. Yeah.
Well, I mean, compared to compare a dude who can make drones to somebody who can make dark spears and is an old awakened collector. You kind of want to your kind of choice is weighted.
Yeah. They don't have that. I said, they're not flashy. So.
And that kind of brings us to the black sheep of the basic humans, Infiltrator. Well, I still think it's a great class.
I was going to talk about that. I think that's an okay class. Because I was last
love that class so much.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So you have an interesting build.
To argue your point, I hate that class so much because god dang.
Oh,
well, I already
played that
established
class
this,
with both
but
of you
I'm gonna
guys.
argue with you on
Jonah
this.
and John. You guys saw how much
I
work
was
did.
blown away because what was I using? But you kicked my ass in score, and like I'm not terrible. Like you're definitely better than me, but like I was like, what is he doing?
Found the easiest cheese build on the blob. It's by what's his name? Yumpsuit?
Blob means big list of builds for anyone who's not familiar.
Just a little shout out there, Yumpsuit. You're the man. I love you now. Okay, so it's basically you take the Hurricane, you put a scope on it, you put the stability mod on it, so the mother of all kickback guns in the game, and then you snipe things with it. It's hilarious. Every time you just cloak, throw out a cryoblast, and that reduces their armor, and then you just unload your gun. And if you're in cover while shooting it, there's almost zero recoil on this thing, and it shreds everything. So much fun. It doesn't make sense, but it does so much damage. I just don't get it.
Yeah, I played with him. He was doing really well. I don't know what he was doing. I was playing some other infiltrator. I can't remember, but I remember you kicked my ass. So that was fun.
I never realized that gun had so much raw damage to it.
Well, then let's hear it.
So, I know, of all the infiltrators, the two human infiltrators are kind of the crappiest, quote unquote.
I'll agree with you there, yeah.
No,
because, you have the Gath.
Totally
you have the Gath, who's basically, one-shots everything. You have arc grenades, the Quarian. So, stick of grenades. They do a lot of damage to armor.
Yeah.
The cool thing about the human male infiltrator is that you can have the 25% cryoblast damage modifier on top of the 80% tactical cloak damage. So you cryoblast a target first, then you go to tactical cloak. You can throw grenades. Grenades don't break tactical cloak.
Yeah, that was the other thing that was cool.
You do 6,000 damage a grenade. For reference, an Atlas is about 24,000 hit points of armor.
Yeah, so 6,000 is also like Gath Infiltrator Javelin. Like a cloak javelin shot is around 6,000, I think.
This is against armor. It's extra armor modifier.
Yeah.
Do you guys actually think the Quarian female infiltrator is better than the vanilla human? Do you actually think Sabotage is better than Cryoblast? Really?
Well,
I think all the infiltrators are inferior to everything.
If you sabotage something, then Cryoblast it, they take 50% more from the Cryoblast.
Well, with Sabotage, you cause them to flinch for a second, so you can aim something like a Crusader shot to the head, which hurts a lot. They also have stinger grenades. The Quarian also has 100 extra shields base.
I'd rather take a freeze than a flinch. But
Cryoblast is a projectile and can't miss targets.
Yeah, Sabotage is hit scan, so it's also better than for like things that use their power bubbles, because then they don't have a chance to block it. So like Phantoms will. Or
hacking Cerberus turrets.
Right.
Or Geth Primes.
I don't play it as much, but I think it's slightly better, objectively.
I've never liked that skill from the beginning. It seems so.
It's definitely lackluster, but it's not terrible, especially for sniping. So.
Well, the thing is that unless it's like a Geth thing, the Sabotage is really ultimately useless. I mean, like you could sabotage their guns, but what good is that?
It has a bit of backblast damage.
Yeah, it does like 500 damage, I think.
Oh. Right.
Plus, yeah.
Mm-hmm. And it's I don't think you can hack anything Reapers, right?
No, you just backblast damage them.
Yeah, but like hacking turrets is fun. Hacking Atlases is fun.
Yeah, it's always fun to see rockets turn on other teammates.
Even if they dodge the cryoblast, the way that I play them, you throw one of those out like every 2-point-something seconds. So it's like, oh no, you dodged my first one. Oh, there's my second one.
Mm-hmm.
You're frozen, and now I destroy you with this awesome gun. That doesn't make any sense. What is the base damage on the Hurricane? I want somebody to look that up for me.
With your build, I think it was something around 175 damage per shot, but I don't know if that's counting the fact that it shoots twice at a time, like 2 bolts at a time. I'm not entirely sure, but that's also per second, or like 170 like per shot, and it shoots a ton per second. So, not sure what the DPS is. The Kalen's builder doesn't say that. I don't think so.
I believe it counts as per shot.
Because it shoots twice, or it uses. I don't know exactly how that works, actually, because it takes 2 ammo. I'm assuming it shoots twice, and they're using that to make it seem like it fires faster.
On Kalen's, it's per bullet, because there's 50-point armor damage reduction on gold. And I see 192 versus 142 in just tactical club.
Yeah, so it's definitely pretty strong. And because you shoot a lot per second, so.
I was blown away by the raw damage on that gun. I never knew it was that strong.
Yeah, I throw it on everything. Like, it's my go-to. Like, I don't know what gun to put in this guy. Hurricane, because it's really light too. So.
Accuracy is not the best, but it's tolerable enough.
Yeah, I mean, if you use like AP ammo and then like the clip upgrade and the stability thing, I think that's usually what I do.
Yeah, I do the same thing.
So.
Sounds like a wet fart though when other people are using it.
I think it sounds like bees personally, but I don't know.
That just adds to the gun.
Yeah. Regarding the human infiltrator though, I think without thinking about it too much, I would have to say it's probably the best candidate for using those multi-shot sniper rifles, like the Viper and the Raptor, because Cryoblast is fairly good.
Cryoblast with sniping though? Cryoblast is a fairly long travel time.
Well, I mean, because like the Valiant, it works well too. Because like if you're, I remember seeing an XCal video actually, and then I tried to emulate it, and it was pretty good. He was using like I think the Indra or the Raptor, and he was getting like kind of close, like medium range ish, and he'd hit him. And then like you said, Jordan, like it is a pretty fast. Like a pretty quick cooldown, so you can spam it. But then, because they have that debuff, then the amount of damage you're doing per shot is better. And because they're frozen, or like the trooper level enemies are frozen, then being out of cover more doesn't matter as much. So, that's at least what I told my friend when he was trying to get Raptor points for the challenge. I said, use the vanilla human, and he seemed to like it. Alright, so.
I don't know. I feel that if you're trying to snipe, Cryoblast takes too long if you're actually trying to snipe. Maybe if you're trying to use something like a mid-range weapon, like I guess the Raptor kind of does count as mid-range.
Because it's a Maddock with a scope.
Yeah, or a Maddock, or a Valkyrie Lancer, maybe even a long-range shotgun.
Saber. Let's go. I'm doing that after this podcast. Putting the Saber on him.
Downside of Infiltrator and Saber is that you face shield gate pretty hard.
Yeah, well, basic rounds. There you go.
I don't think you can punch it against. Well, I'm trying to. I have a cans builder on me at the moment. I'm trying to do math at the same time.
Okay, yeah. I don't know. I think it's okay. I guess of all of the humans, you can punch through
shields. So
I think of all of the humans in comparison to the other class, like to the other characters in that class, I think the Infiltrator is probably the weakest. But I still like it. I don't think it's bad.
I think
the other Infiltrators are so good.
So my point is proven. My Infiltrator is the worst.
That's not what I said.
I will stand by it. I will
no, your class is great, yeah. So.
That is one of my new favorite go-to builds after I found that out. So cheese, so fantastic.
I think the N7 Shadow Infiltrator slightly worse than the base unit.
Okay.
But I
feel
don't
like that one falls off the difficulty.
And it can't sound like Atlas's.
Yeah, on bronze, you're just like, this is awesome. But then on gold, you're just like, guys, I need to get revived again.
It's like a flashier Nova Guard is how I look at that class. Like, sure, you have all the invisible stuff in the sword play, but you're basically
like you definitely do more
high-tech Nova Guard.
Strike, but you die because you don't get your shields back. So, or like there's that Evo, but that's not as good as getting all of your shields back. So.
Is there a class that's worse than some of the vanilla humans?
Other
than obviously the Solarians.
That's Solarian
Infiltrator is pretty good.
Solarian Infiltrator is great, I would say.
But yeah, Solarian Engineer is kind of lacking very much.
Lackluster.
Well, yeah.
Incinerate Energy Drain's pretty decent. I mean, it's almost like the regular human engineer.
But you can't detonate unless they're synthetic or have shields, though. So
True.
I don't know.
Obviously, some of the bullets but they kind of go.
Well, they're built to be support classes.
Yeah, and like that's not what they're built for. But I think I would say they're worse, but that's because I don't do support classes. So
the Turian Saboteur on the engineer side is very niche. I mean, sabotage grenades.
The engineer's kind of meh.
I would say the same for the Geth Engineer, but maybe that's just me. He feels like a weird hybrid.
See,
I don't like the hybrid between support and damage on him. It feels too like they're trying to encompass too much into one kit, and it doesn't excel at either of them.
One thing with the Geth Engineer you could do, assuming you're using I like using the Saber because Aaron. This is Aaron of Mass Effect. Outclasses me every time he plays with me. He loves using Hunter mode to increase the accuracy of the saber, and then using Overload to strip shields, because you get a pretty decent power boost with certain Overload evolutions. Do a shot with the saber in the head. It's a dead target. The bounced Overload probably knocks off another guy's shield. That's a boom boom, 2 headshots, 2 guys are dead.
Yeah, I think the thing with the Geth Engineer is you kind of have to pick one way or the other. You can't really do both. If you go Overload and then Hunter mode, you have a good offensive capability, but you don't have good support exactly.
You could with the turret.
Because if you're skipping the turret, yeah. If you do what I do, which I think is maybe a little bit strange, but I seem to enjoy it. If you skip Hunter mode, so you have, because without Hunter mode, Geth are pretty tanky actually. Yeah. And then you just use like chain overload, and then you have maxed out turret. If you have like any other tech person on your team, you're a great detonator, and you have that shield stuff, so you're not offensive powerhouse. You're kind of like a secondary support-ish kind of thing. But I think it's really good. So
you could have it both ways. You just become frail at the end. So you could have Geth turret, the flamethrower, Hunter mode, and overload. You just come at the end at 675 shields.
Yeah, and that's like, I don't know. I'm not good enough to like, because I know on gold and platinum, people argue that fitness doesn't matter. I'm just not at that level yet, so.
It matters a little.
The way that you described playing that character, I almost feel like the Solarian Infiltrator would do the same thing, but safer. Because, I mean, yeah, you get the extra damage from coming out of Cloak, you strip shields with Energy Drain, and then you get your own shields back on certain targets, like.
Yeah, that's why he's my shotgun infiltrator of choice, because of that survivability. But I don't know. That's definitely not the way most people do it, so I don't know.
Should we talk about the Black Horse, the Battlefield 3 soldier?
Yeah.
It's like he's kind of the default, kind of not.
I mean, yeah.
Technically he isn't. You can only get him in a rare pack. You can't get him like anywhere else.
You could get it if you bought, which just became free for a little bit, so everyone could start out though.
And you get him for free, yeah.
Yeah.
I think he's actually good. Because you just have to specialize. Because he has frag grenades, which wreck armor. He has Carnage, which wrecks armor, and then he has Adrenaline Rush, which is just good all around. Like if you spec him, Reapers are a joke. Like, it's great. Because Carnage frag grenade is a fire explosion, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
I like the cool thing about tech detonators, if you don't mind me interrupting for a second.
Oh, go ahead, yeah.
So I think Torgs, Axton, whoever did that on B-Blob, I'll find his name as I'm talking about it. So if you have, I like using it with a Hurricane. It's Scorpion. So if you use a Hurricane, you choose them with Disruptor ammo, price for a Disruptor, price for a Tech Explosion. So you shoot them, see electricity sparks, throw Carnage, Tech Explosion, immediately throw a grenade after. Because of how Tech Detonators work, you immediately get a Fire Explosion. So you get 2 combos back to back off each other.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, it's definitely strong. It's not very good against Geth or Cerberus. Collectors, it's okay, but I think it's good. Considering I mostly play Reapers, or against Reapers anyway, so.
And they used to say Reapers were the hardest.
I know, right? I went back and watched all those videos that they made, like, before the game came out, and they were like, Reapers are definitely the hardest faction because of how aggressive they are. And, like, looking now, it's like, what?
Reapers are the easiest, actually, aren't they? Well, with the exception of the Banshees.
I'd say so. Brawn, like, starting out, I think Cerberus is the easiest, but once you kind of learn how to deal with Banshees, then Reapers are pretty easy.
I really want to try that Battlefield 3 soldier with the Rieger now. I think that would make a really fun class. Using the Adrenaline Rush to restock your ammo all the time.
I've done that with
flames and stuff.
Yeah.
It's pretty
you only have like 4
clicks,
so.
It reminds me that, like, my friend, he did this, it was a Turian with the Revenant, and then Marksman to refill your clip, because Revenant has a pretty big clip.
Yeah.
But then the Marksman helps the accuracy, and that's pretty good.
Revision was the one who did the BF3 soldier build I like using a lot.
Yeah. No, he's underrated, but yeah, I think he's pretty good. So.
If you ever get the opportunity to, I mean, you all know the Rieger is basically electric flamethrower is cheesy. Like you said, Jordan. if you ever get a chance to put incendiary rounds on a Rieger, use a human soldier, go fire it off, then adrenaline rush, fire it again. It's stupid amount of damage. Just stupid.
Yeah, but you waste a lot of clips doing so.
Who cares? There's ammo boxes everywhere.
Everything dies. You don't understand.
True.
Go on Rio. Use a thermal clip. I mean, Rio's a giant ammo box as is.
Yeah.
So you prefer a concussive shot over carnage? It sounds like.
It depends on the time of day.
Well,
I'm with you there.
Also, you also have to put in the factor that Carnage is a lot slower in terms of recharge with concussive shots.
Speed.
But Carnage, is a primer. Concussive shot isn't, unless you're using the Evo with the ammo effects. But I don't think that's that good.
They replaced
Honestly, I think Carnage is the best.
Oh, they replaced that?
I mean, it's better than concussive shot. I mean,
they replaced it, I think, with Shredder.
Okay. Oh, that's right. They did. Yeah.
Hammer got replaced, where it increases radius and damage. Well, Shredder is the best evolution, not because it has my name,
right.
but it does extra DOT damage. So against collectors, I think you do. Let me see, put 4 points in that.
He's doing math.
I'm doing math. So
maths.
do 13.
Oh God, we're actually doing math on the ME3 podcast, everybody.
This game is so full of chocked math mechanics.
That's one of the reasons I like it, actually, because I am that guy that will sit with a spreadsheet and be like, I don't know, that's 7.5. That's a pretty good number if you look at it down the chain of, on all the algorithms and stuff.
And unlike everybody, I just put points on everything and be like, go play, we got this. I don't know, it's just my opinion. Jordan already knows that. I already talked to him about.
Yeah, that's kind of my style
more of
too.
I'm more of an impulse kind of guy.
Like, I'll look up other people's ideas, but I feel like there really is no substitute for experience when it comes to this game. Like, you can know every little number in the game, but if you don't know how to use it correctly, then you'll just be down in a hindrance.
I think, this might sound a little bit strange. I feel like I have a decent grasp of the mechanics and the numbers and stuff, but the execution is where I'm not so great. I think that's why I'm not quite a very strong gold player. I can, I'm not quite there yet.
As long as you weren't the sorry Justicar in my game, who's trying to headshot things with the Scorpion.
Yeah, we talked about that.
Okay. So I plan on
probably listen to the podcast.
I want to hear the full story because I never knew.
Downvote.
Okay. So last week you guys challenged me to play a human soldier without frag grenades. Alright, it was fine. You made me respec a kit that had 3 points of frag grenades. So I know. I put an extra point into, I think, weapons. No, I put an extra point into concussive shot. I'm thinking like, alright, this isn't too bad. First game I dropped halfway through a game with with a Crusader and a Hurricane. It went okay. But I didn't really count it. It's like, alright. I mean, kind of halfway through, it did it, but it wasn't a full game. So I did a second game, Unknown. It kind of had the telltale sign of like a deadweight-ish player who was a Batarian. I want to say it was a soldier. I don't remember.
Is this on gold or flat?
This is gold.
Okay.
I assume gold unless otherwise stated. It was unknown. Then we had a collector, an ACA, the collector with particle rifle. I'm like, alright, it's decent. Then you have a Justicar who shows up with a headshot mod and a power damage amplifier and a Scorpion. I'm thinking, this must be a joke. Alright, unknown, I think I'll take it. Then we get to collectors. I'm like, oh boy, and it's Hazard Ghost. I'm like, this map. This is not good. This is gonna end real poorly. I'm using a Black Widow with phasic ammo. And I forgot, one thing you don't know is that the only mouse my computer recognizes has an issue where if I don't press the exact position on the right mouse button, which is used to zoom, it will basically like double click, so I'll try to zoom and it'll immediately unzoom. Which, with how this game works, it kind of resets your cursor up a few feet, or down a few feet. So, missing headshots, that was fun. It was going all smooth until wave 6, where we got a hack on the side. Not the far side, the closer side, where there's a ladder near the main, dip. I think I used 4 Metagel, 2 Ops kits, and 2 rockets. And it took 3 minutes. And I was thinking, man, if we get to wave 10, I'll be so happy.
Yeah.
I burned my last Metagel wave 8. I went down wave 9. It was over. That Justicar went down so many times, I lost count.
Were you actively trying to revive him, or
I was doing my best
what's going
to
on with
revive
that situation?
I was
You're
doing
a better
my
man
best.
than me. I would have let him die.
We were all hanging out by the back. back pod with the back ladder.
Oh, yeah, that one. Yeah.
Yeah, that one.
See, our callouts are different, so I have to think a little bit.
But yeah, I know. I'm trying to describe the map. It's like, which back pod? One, the farthest away from the landing zone.
Yeah.
We were all kind of hanging around there. Yeah, the one with the ammo pack in it.
Got it.
Way far away. So we were all kind of hanging out there. We called dying. Abominations were a nightmare. At least the Justicar didn't use pole to pull it in our direction, but man.
That's so funny.
At least it wasn't cruel. It's just like, I can't believe you're trying to use a headshot on a scorpion, which is like the worst possible combination.
Right.
It's one thing you can't get headshot damage with explosives.
Yes.
Secondly, if you're trying to headshot with a scorpion, it will zoom, because enemies like to move back and forth, it will zoom past someone's head, stick on the wall behind him. It's like, cool. That trooper's still shooting you. Now what?
Yeah. So you shoot at their feet if you're using a scorpion.
Or any explosive, really.
Yeah,
So yeah, after wave 9, when I go down, I'm like, this thing gonna end well. Yeah, and we just got overrun. Collector Praetorians were especially mean. I don't like how the lasers can shoot through cover.
Yeah, I don't quite understand the mechanics on the lasers. I've been trying to figure it out. It's like sometimes when you're covered it'll miss, sometimes it won't. It's
basically like, you're using right-hand advantage and you want a harder game? Okay, here.
You like right-hand advantage? Screw you.
Yeah.
So I redeemed myself afterwards with Piranha. Piranha, kind of like the double barrel shotgun with the Claymore. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I was using AP ammo. Adrenaline Rush, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, down to Banshee.
Oh, yeah.
It was a lot easier and a lot more tolerable than that game.
I wonder, are there certain mods that are useless on certain guns?
Oh, yeah.
Like
yes,
what you described with the headshot on this.
Armor-piercing mods on projectile weapons do nothing, because projectiles cannot penetrate through cover.
But most of them ignore armor.
They all ignore armor.
Yeah.
As
like the Geth shotgun.
Geth plasma shotgun, the Grawl spike thrower, the Adasian synthetic. They cannot penetrate cover, nor are reduced by armor. The Kiss Shock has the interesting mechanic of piercing Guardian shields, but that's it.
That's funny though. that's funny how that works. I'm trying to think.
Jonah, you want to talk about how you took the challenge on?
Yeah. Okay. So.
Like now's a good time to get that.
Yeah, now's a good time.
So Shredder talking about his challenge. This is a good segue. I was unable to play with these guys just because I had stuff go on. But then I decided, you know what, I'm just gonna solo bronze because I know I can do that, no problem. And with the Chargers Vanguard,
up in here.
I decided to just use a Batarian Vanguard and then just the Harrier, and I just shot everything. It's like that's so boring though, because I don't have any points in I don't have any points in Lash.
Wait.
I would say that's cheating, but then again, I just used Cerberus Defector.
Yeah.
So that would have
been my second choice, but I don't like that class that much. So.
Wait, you have any points in Charge nor Lash?
No, I had points. I didn't want to respec them because I was like that, so I just didn't charge.
But Lash is so much fun though.
It's fun. I have 3 points in it, I think. Yeah,
I do.
I have some
shield penetration.
Yeah. But that's just for like messing with nemesis and stuff, and just to hate surf. Like at the end of the round, there's one assault trooper left to like smash him and then charge. So, but yeah, so it was basically just the Batarian, or I don't know, just a powerless basically, because blade armor's good, but I don't know, it was alright. I get to punch things because that's what he's spec'd for, is to charge and then punch him. So.
Yeah, that's on my setup too.
Jordan, do you want to tell us about our amazing challenge?
Yeah, I haven't heard about you guys.
Alright, so while we were waiting for you guys to get on, forever,
no passive aggressiveness at all coming from us.
None whatsoever. No.
My friend's birthday, I gave him an Xbox.
Anyways, continue.
So, we did Firebase Dagger on Silver against the Geth. I played the Vanguard, or the Ball Vanguard, just because I always ignore Poison Strike anyway.
And I played the ever so amazing Human Vanguard, Cerberus Defector. You know, it's the best.
You actually thought somebody did Blue Thunder there for a second?
Yes, and like, I had the Rieger Carbine, and I thought that I could do well with it, but I think I got down around 8 times, like, every other wave, and I wasted a total of 6 Metagel and 6 Op Packs. So that was a fun first match. So, you want to tell them about the second match, Jordan? Because gosh,
I don't think the second one was part of the challenge. Didn't we change to different characters after that? I don't think that was
wait. Oh, no, we didn't.
Again. No,
well, I still want to talk about that. While he was checking his Skype, I had to bravely solo a possessed Praetorian, a Scion, several possessed captains, and then another Praetorian, while he was away checking his Skype. We ended up losing that match, so that was a good. Did
you actually finish the wave and I just wasn't back in time? If that happened, I feel really bad.
That's what happened. You got down. Oh. I had to face all those, and it was a fun minute and 30 seconds before I got downed and died.
Oh, so you didn't finish the wave. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I thought that you finished the wave and started the next one. I got downed immediately and got knocked out or something. I'm like, oh wow, my bad.
No, we just failed. We just failed the heck out of that match. It was the worst. I can safely say that was the most embarrassing out of my Mass Effect career. I don't know.
Well, I think it's somewhere on the Mass Effect subreddit. I played, so they decided to have drunk Mass Effect. I was still at home, so I didn't have any alcohol in me, so they decided, you know what, let's Shredder, not use, I only drinks water, but you can't use the restroom. Bad idea. I think I'd rather be drunk than do that suffering again. So B. Hamlin, Warden, he's really good. He's better than Salsa. Probably one of the best players I played with.
Shout out to Salsa.
What?
Shout out to Salsa.
Salsa Devs for being really, really good at this game. So, even after we hazed him in the first few games of PC. So, we all had Eagle challengers, winner of every match gets to choose some new difficulty. So his idea was alright, let's all play the Chargeless Human Vanguard. Why did I make that build? Why? That was the most painful match I've ever played in my life.
That's your baby, man.
It was me.
Thunder that we're talking about?
Liquid Thunder. And I think we were both using a particle rifle or something like that. I think it was me and him, 2 of 4 people extracted that match against collectors on white. Big mistake. I think I burned through all 6 Metagels in that match.
It's definitely different, the Chargers Vanguard, because, when your shields go down, you want so badly to just hit Y, just do it, just,
for me.
You gotta no, I can't. So,
it was for us.
That's just your shit button. That's, not hitting the ops, or, the stim packs on, the Armor Turians and the ED mode stuff. You don't...
Come on, Vanguard, shout out. What?
Yeah. all those things that, you want so badly, just but you can't, so you gotta start punching things or actually play smart.
The only good thing I had in that match, I got really good at Nova canceling.
Yeah.
I was not familiar with the technique. The way Nova works is that you go up in the air a little, and then you smack down on the ground. Once you smack down, there's a shockwave that comes out, and it drains your shields. With Nova canceling, you start the animation. When you're in the animation, you're invincible. If you dodge while you start your animation, you have a little blue blur used biotics on you. So you basically roll around while invincible. A very handy technique if you're trying to dodge something.
Yeah, you can also do it with light melee and some other stuff as well.
Wait, so can you Nova and then you charge and then you could just recharge your shields like that? Or am I wrong in this assumption?
That's how, yeah.
Also with the roll animation takes place. And then after your roll is finished, you can charge.
Yeah.
You can see people on YouTube, XCal, for example. I assume he probably has. Everyone who's played the game a lot probably has tried it at least once. You'll notice how it works. If you can master Nova canceling, you're basically invincible except for sync kills on a Vanguard.
Yep. Yeah. It's really strong. And it's funny, cause if you do the light melee as the human, you have a pistol. She's and you pistol him, and it goes boom, the Nova sound effects. It's boom, when you're just punching him. It's so funny to me. But yeah, that's definitely a good technique to know.
I call that thunder farting, but maybe that's just cool. When you dodge, and he kind of has his butt out right when the noise goes off. Yeah.
Just you.
I think that's just you.
Speaking of
catch on
bionic,
this way.
Can't we just talk about butts for the rest of the podcast?
Butts are nice. I like butts.
And you cannot lie.
And that, but
No, they gotta have like a nice
Oh wait, no,
shape.
we're not going into this.
If a girl walks in with an
This is a
easy waist
PG-rated
around
podcast.
in your face, do you get sprung?
Yeah. Pretty much.
We're doing this
Speaking of other random tips for the basic humans, the tech armor. He doesn't have so much force when you detonate it. If you have an enemy that's next to a boss and you want to stun it, if you blow up tech armor next to them, most likely the boss will get staggered. It's like, I can't believe you just blew up holographic armor in my face. Like, yeah. What you could do with it. As you
I like to imagine they're just like surprised that you did that. It's just like, you think that'll actually work? Huh? They stagger.
I remember reading a thread on Reddit where somebody was saying as the Krogan, he was getting sync killed and he detonated his own armor and canceled the bot sync kill. Is that possible? Oh, with latency? Oh, okay. I was like, if that works.
I assume you're familiar with magnet hands, they were called. Back before they updated the netcode for 2 checks instead of 1 for sync kills, if you had a sufficient latency within your game, the enemy will trigger the sync kill in the host client. You are running up somewhere else, and then as it's doing the animation, you basically moonwalk back to where you're getting sync killed. Called magnet hands because it kind of magnetizes you to the hands because the Banshee picks you up and stabs you in the heart.
Right.
But now, thankfully, I think it was in patch 4, they updated it so there's 2 checks. 1 for check for sync kill, 1 for check for direction.
I think
less magnet.
I think it was patch 4. I actually did a patch breakdown video for that, actually, on my channel.
Combat drone. The rockets on the combat drone will stun Atlases, even with shields up.
Mm-hmm.
Do you actually use the rockets on that?
I use it on the Bullet Sentinel, but yes.
Oh, on the Bullet Sentinel. Okay.
It's an interesting technique about a combat drone. Same thing with kind of like the detonation of the combat drone. It's really good staggering.
Yeah,
like
you said,
like combat drone kamikaze.
Yeah,
I like that a lot more.
Yeah, like you said, Shredder, like the tech armor thing, like that's really handy to know. Like if your friend gets picked up, you can just detonate your tech armor and they'll put them down.
Much better on Phantoms, if you ask me. Because Phantom will try to like be in the middle of a slashing animation. Detonate tech armor, and the Banshee will be taken aback for a second, which should be enough for you to res an ally. Right. Barely. That'll be enough.
Because at a certain point, you just kind of see say, alright, we need to haul ass. We can't be here anymore. Just run the other way. So.
Back to the gaff. Yeah. Stagger the back.
Well, I use tech armor a lot, cause for some reason, like the Gath do this and then like Cannibals and Marauders do, like where they melee you and then while you're like recovering, they shoot you. And like usually when they melee you, that's enough to take down your shields. Or like if your shields are already down, they'll melee you and stun you and then they'll just kill you. Yeah. So, but since tech armor, like you can do that while you're like recovering from the stun, kind of, then it stuns them and you have a chance to shoot them back. So, but yeah, it's, like, people don't think about detonating tech armor, they just kind of leave it up, but it's definitely useful. And there's the tech armor guy in the single player. The tech armor Turian.
The brute tech armor.
Yeah.
Tech armor. And the Solarian's like,
what?
I love those guys.
Do you remember when XCal got like top score at like 140,000 points, like using just tech armor or something like that? I might be getting that wrong.
That video.
Things that never happen by XCal.
No, it's not. I will send it to you after this podcast. He did it.
That cannot be real. That cannot be real.
No, he
cannot just like survive just by
with just tech armor. Or no, he used tech armor and he used like overload and warp, I think. And then
so then that doesn't count.
It was primarily tech armor. XCal did do a video on that. There's also a few tech armor based builds on our subreddit.
Overload and warp. Who was overload and warp? Who is that?
Turian.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Turian's another solid kit, but for another day.
Turian is amazing.
Because that was what he said, and because in the single player, the guy said like, oh, like if I'm against a Gath, then I use overload and then get those. So like, that was what he said. I'm only using the thing that the guy in the single player said he was using, and it worked. I mean,
the Solarian was more in the conversation in the Citadel DLC. The Solarian is more like, let's use tactics, let's use Incinerate against armor enemies, Energy Drain against shields to get shields back. And the Turian's like, tech armor everything!
Yeah.
Swarms, tech armor. Big boss, tech armor.
That's pretty much it.
It was something like that, I think I remember.
The DLC, the multiplayer characters and the Cell DLC were pretty funny.
Yeah. The RNG store guy was really great. The two Asari that are talking about how dumb Furies are pretty funny.
I like the human infiltrator in the Vorcha. The human infiltrator's like, these fucking people I'm playing with, they suck. And the Vorcha's like, why don't you just find another group? I'm already invested, man. And the two regular humans.
I love how wait, it's the same one that where he's with the Fury, right? Or was it some?
The Fury was the RNG store.
Yeah, but
there's the two regular humans who are like, remember back in the day when we were pretty good, we weren't jetpack people or collectors. Remember how he used to rule? He was a soldier and an engineer, in fact, if I remember correctly.
Yeah. He got saved by a Volus. He got saved by a Volus. They're like, oh man, that sucks.
Really? Volus? They didn't have those bird people. They have jetpacks. Stinking jetpacks, man.
Dude, they don't really fly. They just like glide, and it's just like, oh come on, you could definitely use it better than that.
I remember when that trailer dropped, like, the next day, I went to school and I was on my iPod and I was watching it with my friends and we were all sitting at this table. I was like pausing and I was like, look, the Turian has a jetpack! It's like, it's so cool! And it is really cool, so. God, that trailer was actually really good. Oh
man, I want to watch it again.
I know.
I love that trailer. It was like my favorite out of all the DLCs because there was like so much added into it.
Yeah.
Maps, enemies.
I think 19 kits, 6 updated maps with the hazard maps that used to be cycled.
Yeah, and collectors. It was like
new faction and 2 new enemies. The Cerberus.
The bomber and the Dragoon.
The bomber and the Dragoon.
They added some more guns too, didn't they?
Yeah. There were guns in every DLC. I was looking at this earlier today because I was trying to find out what guns came on release.
3 collector weapons.
Yeah, that's it.
I feel so bad for the Reapers. They don't get anything. It's just like there. Like, oh, hey guys.
They have a lot of units though, so.
True.
I think it's alright.
Ravager, Banshee, Brute, Marauder, Husk, and then Cannibal. Is that enough?
Swarmers, if you count that.
Alright.
Swarmer, Ravager, everything.
Yeah. How long have we been going?
About an hour.
Almost an hour.
Almost an hour? Alright, cool. Anything else we want to talk about real quick? I know last time we went for like 90 minutes, and I think some people said that was a little too long, so we'll try and cut it off here then.
Before we end, I have a question about something that happened in one of my games. So, we're all on the extraction, we're all waiting for it to come in, and there was a possessed abomination running around with us, and we're just like, oh, don't blow it up, it'll kill us all. Don't blow it up, it'll kill us all. And then the extraction, or the thing times out, for us to all get extracted, it blows up, and we all still die. Is that supposed to happen, or was that latency, and it's just never happened before?
So here's what happens, and Shredder, correct me if I'm wrong, because I think you know about this more than I do. If someone had done damage to an enemy, when the extraction comes in, you get credited for that kill. So I think, if the abomination is there, and someone did damage to it, when it comes in and it kills all the enemies on the map, then it will count that as like being shot, and then it will blow up. I think that's what happened.
Even though it's after extraction, you could still die. It's just it doesn't happen because all the enemies are killed. If I'm understanding that correctly, that's how it does it in sequence. Because it was literally, we got to 0 seconds, we started extracting or whatever, like all the enemies die, and then he explodes, and then we go down, and then we get nobody lives. Failed extraction.
What map was this?
Oh, let me see if I can remember.
I pictured it happening on Dagger, oddly enough. like the lower one.
It was on one of the DLC maps. It was on.
Was it Jade? By any chance, Slayer and Homeworld got white buildings.
Yeah, I know Jade has some wonky.
The most endearing map of all time.
I think it was Rio. I could be wrong.
Okay.
Of course, Jordan's favorite map, Rio.
Passion. I won't even get into that. I'll say that for another day.
I hate it too. I hate it.
Oh, come on. No.
I hate the spawns, I hate the color.
I hate the objectives of the map, but I love the ammo.
Yeah, I know. I love everything about it.
Everything else is dumb.
Oh no. It's just my opinion. I love everything about it. Even the objectives, no matter how bad they are.
Alright, well, I mean, I guess someone's got to be different. So,
it appears to be me, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So just to recap, humans, middle of the road, most things, fairly solid.
Yeah.
You really can't go wrong with a human, unless you're me trying to play Liquid Thunder, but...
If they're in the middle, then what's at the bottom?
That's at the bottom? Solarians.
We asked
No,
that.
just kidding.
It's always Solarians.
I mean, the way they're supposed to be, and I think they do this very well, they're supposed to be kind of like, okay, here's a first, like, beginner class. Like, here's a good first adept. And I think that's...
There's an intro to the class, is how I look at them. It's like,
Right.
hey, you like infiltrators? Here, try this guy out. He'll be a good first step for you.
Right.
And if you like him, stick him around.
Like, if you first load up the game, and, like, say you played an infiltrator in the single player, and, like, let's say they gave you, like, the Geth infiltrator first, you would have a bad time. Cause he does, like, sure, he vaporizes everything with his absurd damage, but he is pretty squishy. So, like, it's not very forgiving. And so I think the humans being where they are, where they're kind of average-ish, sometimes more, sometimes less, I think that's right where they should be. So
they do a very good job defining the class roles, is how I see them. Like,
yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right.
And they have the recognizable powers in the single player. Like, everyone knows the human soldier single player has Adrenaline Rush.
Mm-hmm.
It's Adrenaline Rush. Everyone knows Singularity. Pretty adept. Adept Singularity.
Yeah.
Vanguard is Charge. Everyone's favorite power.
It's like in Call of Duty where you get the M4A1 at level 1 in multiplayer. It's just like the standard run-of-the-mill gun. It's like not really good at anything, but it's just okay. You know?
It's just there.
It's like
He
that.
does his job.
Yeah, exactly. So I think that's what they were intending, and I think that worked out right. So
They did a good job with that, in my opinion.
yeah, absolutely.
All right. Well,
Anything
So,
else?
before we end this, I want to give a shout out to Schmeeds for
Yeah.
an awesome
Yeah.
background.
let's all
Yeah,
give out our
I was-
respective shout-outs.
Stellar.
I tried to like say how cool it was without sounding like an old guy who like just figured out that you can use exclamation points on the internet. Be like, this is so great! Exclamation point! Like it was really cool, and I tried to get that across. I don't know if I succeeded, but Shmi, it's awesome. It's really really cool. I promise we'll get that up somehow. I think that'll be the background art for this, and then as well when we try and do a video podcast next time, that will be the background as well. So.
Can't thank you enough, man. That is just too fantastic.
It's awesome. And then he posted the thread on how he did it, and it's like, oh man, so like, hopefully we see more people doing that.
Also, I want to give a shout-out to Kutra, Sashimi Taco, Kojak, and RCKO.
For what?
What?
Because they're awesome, in general.
Why
In my
I say?
opinion.
Have you seen Stevie's list of porn?
No.
Yes, I
I
have.
actually haven't.
Oh,
You don't want
Really?
good.
I kind of want to
can I
send you
just
the link
can I
now.
just say I know we were kind of like hoping to have Ron as a guest. I'm kind of looking forward to that because that'll be fun. Maybe
Oh, also,
okay. How
She's
about
an
this?
interesting character.
How about
and
this?
that's one of the subreddits.
We save the discussion for which is hotter, Asari or Horian, until she's on. How about we do that?
Okay.
Okay.
That's actually really hard.
All the
No,
ratchet
okay, again,
stuff
we
until she
Can't
comes
talk about
on.
it now. We have to wait for her to be on. Okay, so
Also, if the community could give us a challenge. Last time we gave ourselves one, but I'm hoping with some more viewers and everything, if people can post challenges for us, that'd be really cool to get the community involved one way or another. And I think that's right now the best way to.
yeah.
Let's see. I believe
Challenge,
Hansel
please.
gave us one. It was use only the common weapons, the katana, the avenger, the shuriken, the predator, and the mantis on weapon kits, or use a very heavy weapon on a power-based kit.
But
That was
what
when I-
defines weapon kits to power-based kits? I should have brought that up in the thing. Is it just we decide, like,
I mean,
We could just do only common weapons on a...
I think that'd be easier then, because there's not really any semantics we have to argue there. Because, like, you can make a weapons-based collector adept. I've seen it, and it's good, but it's not what he's supposed to do, so.
okay.
Well, this has been a very fun podcast, you guys.
Yeah, absolutely. Glad we could do it. What about the mailbag episode? Do we want to talk about that? Or are we doing that?
Hey,
Perhaps at a
let's
later time.
Yeah, we should probably wait until, we get some more stuff, because
Well, I'm just wondering, because, like,
much at this point.
yeah, okay. So we'll talk about that later then, I guess. Because we still need to work out between us four what we want to do, so.
Have any questions or comments? Feel free to message us
The extraction zone at gmail.com.
Any of us, yeah, and then the extraction zone at gmail.com. Do that. So.
And also, what was it? extractionzone.blogspot.com. That's where we post our stuff whenever it comes out.
Yep, and I will link that on the Reddits as well. So, anything else? Or are we good?
Yeah, we're good.
We're golden.
All right, cool. Well, this has been the Extraction Zone podcast, episode 2, all about the vanilla human kits. Had a great time talking about this, guys. And we'll see you later.